Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Yacht Crew Vlogs right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I am your host, and today we are pleased to have Jack Coppola as a guest. How are you, Jack?
Hi, Ria. I'm well. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Well, you came to my attention. You are the owner of Coppola Concierge. I actually posted a story on my social media pages the other day. As we are coming out of this COVID-19 situation, we are wondering how tricky it is going to be to get guests and charter guests, owners to their yachts. And Rob Report had a story about VistaJet launching a new jet to yacht service. And somebody tagged you, and you responded by saying, I've been doing this for a long time. So I thought, well, let's get in touch with Jack and see what he has to say about the whole situation, because yeah, I mean, in today's day and age, this is obviously where it's going. Nobody's going to be wanting to take commercial jets. I mean, it's kind of like cruise ships. We're talking petri dishes at this stage. And if you can afford to have a yacht, you can afford to have a private jet take you directly to your yacht. So tell me a bit about yourself first.
Well, Ria, I appreciate you reaching out. I did see the tag on Facebook. That was from my friend Nicole Fowler, a beautiful stewardess that I worked with many times. My name is Jack, as Ria said. I own Coppola Concierge. I just turned 25 this year, and I'm from Connecticut.
Well, and so what got you Connecticut? So what got you into yachting? Because that doesn't, Connecticut and yachting.
No, so I mean, Connecticut, you have Greenwich, you have, Bridgeport, which,
Right.
has some boats. You have Long Island, but believe it or not, I actually didn't start in yachting. I actually started my career working as a flight attendant on private jets. So it was kind of a unique thing. And I started working on airplanes fresh out of high school. I had no interest in going to school. I didn't really know what I wanted. Senior year, they make you do your college letter, and I actually wrote a letter to my English teacher saying why college is not fit for everyone. So I was one of those students that kind of always, gave a little bit of a hard time. But you know what? It wasn't fit for me. And, I knew there was something out there and something that was unique and different that I would fit into. I've always been a man of luxuries. I've always loved nice cars. I've always liked jewelry. I've always loved travel. I've always loved, everything high end. And my mother was always like, whose kid are you? Because that's not part of this family. So um, as I was working on the airplanes, the family that I worked for actually had a few super yachts. And when we would fly in from the planes, they would say, hey, come on board. We're going to be, cruising the Amalfi Coast for 2 weeks. And, I would go on the boats, but I would go on more as like owner's PA. So I was spoiled. I had a guest cabin. I slept in. But of course, going from the aviation side of things on the private jets, I was alone. And I had to serve cocktails. I had to make the tables up for, sometimes up to 15 people, one of our biggest jets had. So I had that. And then I also had 3 pilots to take care of. So, in the air, you really have to juggle, put your priorities straight of your service. So when I got on board the super yachts, I was like, oh my God, there's 2 chefs. You have a whole fleet of stewardesses inside that's doing, linens and laundry. You have someone doing your service. You have another person doing your cocktails, back of the house that no one's even seeing. And it fascinated me. So after I worked with the family for about over 3 years, I came down to Florida and I said, I'm going to get on a yacht. And my first gig was 136 at Becking and Rasmussen. I was the stew cook on board, as I had the cooking experience from the airplanes. And life went on. That was the start of yachting.
The start of something great, obviously. So then you got into yachting, but obviously you came out and got into concierge. So what was the catalyst that created that decision?
So the concierge thing, I'm what they call a jack of all trades. So I have aviation knowledge. I have the yachting knowledge. I also have a big car background. I have, estate and building background. And, as I was working in the yachting industry in particular, I worked on small boats, big boats, private boats, charter boats, boats that were based in Greece, Spain, France, Caribbean, Bahamas, America, New England. And my goal was to get on as many boats and to either do trips or do charters or, whatever the situation was. But I wanted to get as much knowledge as I could because, I wanted to, own my own company. I wanted to be my own boss. I never wanted to work for someone, but I wanted to know the ins and outs of everything on a yacht. I wanted to see what a good boat looked like, what a bad boat looked like, good captain, bad captain, charter boat, private boat, small boat, big boat. So when I, now as the concierge, when I have a client that comes to me and says, hey, we want to charter a boat in Croatia, I've cruised Croatia, I could tell them everything about it. If I know that their style is, 3-hour lunches, dessert after lunch, 5-course dinners, I'm going to put them on a boat that I know the service is going to be, spot on.
Right.
So I kind of worked the industry, inside out. I worked on deck. I worked on the interior. I worked in the galley. I worked as a tender driver. So, I kind of have the versatility to now provide, literally nothing but the best for my clients.
Well, now, when it comes to this situation, are you finding that the clients that you've had in the past are starting to go more towards we want a helicopter from the airport when we get off our private jet directly to our super yacht? Are you finding that aviation is starting to play an ever increasing role nowadays?
Majorly. I mean, my top clients, we've always offered that service. It was always private jet to seaplane and then seaplane to the back of the boat. If the boat accommodates a chopper, we do that. But you're getting more and more and more inquiries on the jet side of clients that would fly first class and own the boat, and now they're just straight up going to private jets, whether it's a smaller plane or there's a term what we call empty leg. So that's a plane just repositioning back to its location, and I'm able to sell them empty legs, on the pretty affordable side. So, we make
What is the cost? When you come to say flying first class as opposed to an empty leg, as you said, or even chartering a plane to get to where you need to go. What is the cost factor?
Well, you know what? There's a lot of factors involved because you have, new plane versus old plane, Wi-Fi on board, pets included. You get the amenities.
Yeah.
But yesterday, for example, was a 12-passenger jet that went from Fort Lauderdale up to New York. That plane was a 2017, and it was 18,000 total. So, granted, if you split that 12 ways, if you're going with couples, is it that expensive? No. First class, depending on the airliner, you can get tickets that are 2 to 3 to 5,000, depending where you're going. JetBlue Mint LA to Fort Lauderdale, it's about $3,600.
Well, see, it's funny you say that because I'm seeing straight across the auto industry, a lot of people are sort of pushing the fact that yacht charters are going to be going up because it's just the money is essentially the same for better service. If you were going to a 5-star resort with your entire family for say 2 weeks vacation and you're intermingling amongst all these people, there's no real privacy. And if we are talking pandemic concept, you can't be sure of the sanitation aspect of things. But for the same price, you can get your very own super yacht, charter your very own super yacht, go out for 2 weeks, know that you are in paradise. Every single whim is met. So, do you think this is a trend that's just going to carry on into the future?
Most definitely, especially for the smaller boats. It's funny that you actually mentioned that because I was on a 90-foot charter boat that was based down in the Bahamas, and the stewardess and I went over to the Cove at Atlantis because you're right there, and we made some friends in the pool, and it was 4 couples that traveled together. They were getting drinks after drinks after drinks. And the Cove Atlantis drinks, they're probably, I don't know, close to $16 to $18 per cocktail. Now, because the Bahamas added a VAT tax to everything, which has, made everything so expensive. They were staying at the presidential suites. They had, I mean, the whole 9 yards. And, one of the gentlemen asked me, he goes, how much is it to charter, the boat that you work on? And I said, for a week, $45,000 plus expenses and tip. And he goes, we just spent close to that in 3 days here. So I said, great. Now you're also sharing a pool with everyone else. I said, you've had to make reservations at Nobu. I said, the food that you bought at Nobu wasn't even that great. And I said, the drink that you're drinking has like a shot and a half of tequila and not even, 2 shots or well done. I said, on the boat that I work on, guess what? You're going to have a turned down poem. You're going to have a turned down chocolate. Your drinks are going to be, so fantastic. And you guys could have explored, 7, 10, 12, 15 islands in the Bahamas rather than staying at Atlantis.
That's the thing, is that when you book these hotels and you're stuck in one place. I mean, there is no, unless you decide that you're going to spend extra money and you're going to go an excursion here, an excursion there, you're stuck. On a yacht, you don't have to be stuck in one place at a time. You can actually say to the captain, you know what, we don't like it here. We're going to move over here. Do you have a place that is where the kids can go swimming, or where we can go for a 5-star dinner, maybe ashore, or you can make a picnic ashore? We don't like it here. The ability to move wherever you want, whenever you want, rather than being stuck in one place for 2 weeks, is there. So it just makes more sense for the same amount of money, maybe a tiny bit more as well. The drinks are probably way better.
100%. I mean, we've had it before where we've been on charter. We've been in one location. The guests absolutely love it. We go to another spot and then they say, you know what? Hey, we actually want to go back to the spot we were before. Not only is it centrally located, the boat is literally nearly backed up to a beach. We could jump in at any time. There's no current. There's no rocking. There's no people. It's docile. We have our drinks on board. We have our chef on board. So, yeah, we're able to accommodate that. And then, I've had, other guests and other clients that want to go to 3 islands a day. So we do it. Whether it is a beach picnic or a hike or just a swim or a paddleboard or a snorkel around. So I think you get more versatility to a boat. Like you said, if you want to dine ashore, there's options for that, but you're going to get cool local options. You're not going to get weird chain restaurants that go into hotels and you have to make a reservation and you have to wait on, service staff, and then you have to, be surrounded by other people. And with COVID, I think, yachts are really, really, really going to get, more popular, especially the smaller boats that can be affordable for the families that would go spend, 10, maybe 20,000 at an all-inclusive resort, in Mexico.
Well, let me ask you, 15 years ago, when I first started sort of becoming in touch with the yachting industry, it was really popular to get a massive super yacht to just sit in one area and sun yourself all day long. Have you noticed a shift in the last, few years of people wanting something more exciting, something more energetic, as well as a shift in the age demographic of people that are chartering yachts?
I mean, yes, there's a massive shift. I think back in the day of Aristotle and Jackie O and, sitting on the boat and smoking a cigar and enjoying the coastline was the luxury. Today's world, everything is about the cell phone, the Instagram, the Facebook, being seen. And also keep in mind, older yachts, they did not have slides. They did not have jet skis. They did not have sea bobs. They did not have scuba gear. Being on the boat was the attraction. So I think some of the newer super yachts are for sure, hands down, changing as a yacht to accommodate the toys and, the tricks and the slides and the trampolines. And there's definitely a change in, the person that's chartering the boat. They want to be seen. They want to be doing things. They want to be traveling. And they want to be posting. I mean, really.
It is the day and age of social media. I can't imagine all these lockdowns across the world without social media. Can you imagine 20 years ago, lockdowns without social media?
Oh.
That would have been an absolute disaster.
No, you would have had postcards and letters coming at you every day.
Excellent. So much fun. So We were talking as well about the jet to yacht service idea. Do you find that there's going to, or do you think that there's going to be a whole other form of changes in the yacht charter industry going forward, as far as sanitation, as far as the way that crew are dealt with, as far as guests being dealt with? Are there going to be tests, et cetera? What do you see coming in the future after this?
Well, it's kind of funny because working on a super yacht, when you don't have guests, what are you doing all day? You're cleaning. You're literally alcohol watering your handles. You're cleaning showers. You're cleaning your floors. You're cleaning 24/7. You're dusting 24/7. So, being on the inside, when I, see Facebook posts about yachts wanting to sanitize everything, and I'm like, why? Literally, your job is to clean. You shouldn't have to sanitize and have a company come in. Not only are these companies coming in and spraying chemicals on your varnished wood, on your suede couches, on your leather Hermes pillows, on, these very delicate materials, which kind of scares me. I think the guests definitely, need to somewhat have like a health declaration, which is what we have to issue on the private jets now, which is basically a document saying that you haven't been to XYZ country and you've been, fever free and, basically not sick for the last 14 days. So I think there's going to be an implementation of kind of a standard health declaration, but, I don't foresee, things changing that dramatically on the yachting side.
Do you also see that some of these people are looking for more sustainable type? I mean, one thing I did notice in the past few months is that when initially the lockdown started, we saw a lot of yacht brokers talking about the fact that yacht sales were down. But all of a sudden, these solar powered catamarans were popping up left, right, and center, and they were being sold one after the other after the other. And at the beginning of lockdowns, it was probably the only bright spark that we did see. Do you think going towards in the future that more and more yacht owners and yacht charter guests are going to be looking for something a little bit more sustainable as well?
It depends. You know what? It's kind of to each your own. I mean, you have people who like sailing, you have people that like, motor yachts, you have people that like catamarans. So I think the power cats with the solar and everything green about them is going to attract a crowd. But I mean, a yacht is pretty sustainable for, any type of situation. I mean, if the world was flooding or if there was a massive earthquake, I'm going to be getting on a boat. You have water makers that can make water. You have, plenty of fuel that can get you, to a safe spot. You have so much storage on a boat, especially freezer storage and fridge storage, that you can, pretty much last on there. So, I think there's, again, it's going to be a niche person that buys it, and it's going to be a niche person that charters it.
Wonderful. Well, Jack, do you know what? Where do you operate? Are you worldwide then?
What's so funny? We are worldwide and we don't have seasons. I thought I was seasonal, especially the first year I had the company and was going. But since I cover land, air, and sea, we're 24/7. I mean, the private jets keep us busy. I mean, every single day. Sometimes we're doing 6 flights a day. If it's a jet and a yacht, that's a lot of legwork on our side, but, we make it work. We have, the New England season, we have the Bahamas season, we have the Caribbean season, the Thailand season, the Med season. And then we also specialize in villas. So, Christmas is obviously insane, but spring and summer, we're doing a lot of fun experiences and worldwide,
Well, I
everywhere.
mean, the yachting industry, there's always a season somewhere.
Oh, of course.
It just moves. So, I mean, good for you. I mean, and the fact is, it was funny because this newspaper article, and I go back to the very beginning, this newspaper article that it was almost as if it was a new concept. And realistically, I mean, I know, even myself, I know that it's not a brand new concept because many people have been doing that for years. But I'm imagining that it is going to become more the norm than it has been in the past.
100%. I mean, the other thing is, that company has a huge following. They have deep pockets to put big articles like that. People will read it and they'll do it. So again, I've been doing that for the past, 2.5 years and taking it a step further of, Clients of ours, I have full profiles on them. I have full preference sheets. So when they say, "Hey, Coppola Concierge, we want to go charter a boat in the Med, you know, summer 2021," I ask if they want the airplane, but I'm queuing in, the flight attendant on board. This is where she's going to sit. This is what she's going to eat. This is what he's going to eat. This is how he takes his coffee, and I'm duplicating that on the boat. Therefore, you know, the the yacht crew doesn't have to send their preference sheet, and there's no room for error. I'm telling them everything, so it makes for a very easy trip on the crew side and on the guest side.
That's amazing. Well, you know what? If anybody is needing your services, we'll make sure to provide all the information below this interview when it does air. It's been really informative, and it's really great to talk to somebody like you, who has been in the yachting, is still really young, has started off your company, and is seeing such success, especially expanding and sort of opening up your mind and not just focusing on the yacht aspect of things, but really the entire luxury experience.
Exactly, and that's, I mean, really what we do, because from the house to the airplane to the boat, it's the same situation, and honestly, it should be the same, and it's not. I see, a lot of, house staff kind of lack on the service side, which is another niche that we specialize in. We go in and train. We train them like yacht crew, which
Oh,
is
wow.
tough. We're actually in the middle of doing a yacht training right now. The client's finishing, building a new house, and then we're going to go in and duplicate the house like the yacht. So, it's popular, and people are in the trend of service. There's, service lacking all over the world. You go to a restaurant and it's like, "Hi, fill my water up. Can I please get this? Put a smile on." So it's a
Well,
very,
yeah, I can imagine, because when it doesn't matter where you are. If you're used to a certain level of service, that service should be duplicated absolutely everywhere. It's not, I'm going to have, 7-star service on my, luxury airplane, 5-star service on my yacht, and 3-star service in my home. No, I want 7-star service straight across the board, right through and through, and I want it exactly the same. I want you to know how I like my eggs. I don't care whether you're the one that's cooking them in my villa, you're the one that's cooking them on my super yacht, or you're the one that's serving them to me on my airplane.
exactly. And that's what we strive for, is keeping everything the same. And whether there's an update in preferences, that person will tell me. I'll update and, reblast it to everyone.
Nice. Well, thank you again. You have been watching Jack Coppola right here on Yacht Crew Vlogs. Thank you, Jack, for joining us today.
Thank you, Rhea. I appreciate it.
Coppola Concierge will include the details right below this interview when it airs. My name is Rhea. I have been your host. We'll see you again for the next episode.